the one who pays the bribery, and al-murtashi, the one who accepts it, and al-ra'ish, the one in between, the agent who hooked them up together, facilitated that. If somebody is paying it, because if he does not pay it, he will not collect his own right. Meanwhile, he is not affecting anybody else, nor is he taking the right of anybody else, then in this case, it is lawful for him to pay, but the person who accepts al-murtashi is blameworthy, and he's been accursed by Allah and His Messenger sallallahu alayhi wasallam. It happens a lot. You're stuck somewhere and you need out, and you're not taking the right of anybody else. In many airports, unfortunately in the Middle East, if you don't pay, you'll get stuck. You can just simply miss the plane. You're not paying in order to get an advantage or take a priority in seating or anything like that, just to facilitate your papers, because otherwise they can put you on hold until the plane takes off, or they can give you a hard time. As long as you're straight, you're not doing anything wrong. Now you bought a property with your own halal earning, and you want to register it. You want to get a license to build, which you're not going to violate any law, nor are you going to take the right of anybody else. They said you build on 60% of the property, you're not going to build on 61%. You're not paying to get extra. Rather, you're just following the law strictly, whether it is the divine law or the man-made law which regulates the building and the dunya. So you're following the law, but in order to get the permit, nobody will move unless you pay. So in this case, I would say you pay, you're not blameworthy, you tried your best. Every time I apply, because they have the lots, the properties here, for instance, via drawings, you pay for it, but you sign up and there is supposedly a computer drawing. Not a single time that my name came out. And I was told that if you pay that much, then you will get it. You're supposed to get it once in your lifetime. I know people who get it more than once, 3 and 4 times, and every time. And sometimes in the same drawing, their names would pop up in 2 different properties. But guess what? This is the exact haram. And this property which you took, it should be for somebody else, not you. But because you paid, you took something which is not your right, then it will be a curse on the person who took it with the right. It will be a curse on the person who paid the rishwa. It will be a curse on the person who accepted the rishwa. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala return us to His deen and to the guidance of His sunnah, the sunnah of His Prophet sallallahu alayhi wa sallam. Assalamu alaikum. Abu Hamdan from United Arab Emirates. Assalamu alaikum.
Assalamu alaikum, Sheikh. We just moved to Canada last year.
Sheikh Muhammad Salah.
Okay. And as an immigrant, and we were looking for buying a house, but there were very few, or there is none.
Welcome to the mortgage.
Available, which has, halal or riba-free business. Well, people have been arguing because you're borrowing money which depreciates over the period of time. It's not like those days and all that stuff, and then you have to give back, of course. So I need your guidance. What shall we do? We're living on a rent for a year now, but of course, we have to buy a house or own a house. And
why do you have to buy a house or own a house, Abu Hamdan?
Well, to settle for the life there, to live there. I mean, the kids are growing up, they will be studying and all that stuff, And I'm originally from Pakistan, and the situation in our countries.
Look, Abu Hamdan, as I said in the beginning, welcome to the mortgage land. Welcome to the riba land. Whatever people are telling you, they're telling you this simply because the same day and the same year they arrived to the West, to North America, they were exactly in your position. No, this is haram, this is clear riba. But the longer they stay, things become much easier. And they shop for fatwa here and there and say, look, logically speaking, there is a depreciation for money. So if I borrow money, I have to give some compensation. This is in the Sharia called riba. Okay? You buy a house with a mortgage where you agree to pay interest, this is riba. There is no barakah, no blessing in such bargain. There is no barakah in such house. We lived for years, alhamdulillah, shuklah, for decades, happily, according to what we have. You have, or you find somebody to lend the money, or a halal firm that they can buy the house and sell it to you and accept to sell it to you with a different price, with an increase for instance, and you pay without interest, all of that is fine. But to buy a house just to settle for the future of your children, there is no future in disobeying Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Just mark down my statement. There is no future in disobeying Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And everybody who challenged that, challenged Allah's order and prohibition, and said, we are in a different country. Some people, in order to make it legitimate, they say, we're not in the home of Islam. Imam Abu Hanifa said it's okay in the home of the enemies to do that. And they ended up losing everything. I mean by losing everything, why people tend to travel to the West and leave their homelands and their people whom they were born and raised with them, looking for a better future for their children. So if you would like to secure the future of your children, fear Allah. It is not by the house, nor is it by the year model car or the kind of education. It is by the halal that you feed them, the halal that you bring to them, a house from halal so that they live in, or even if it is a small flat. According to the halal you have, live. Don't you ever make the same mistake which many people, the vast majority, commit. And after years they regret and they figure out that they're living in misery because they did not obey Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. When Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala sent Adam and Eve to earth, He said, I accepted your repentance after they repented. فَإِمَّا يَأْتِيَنَّكُمْ مِنِّي هُدًى. So, but when you receive guidance from me, whether it was the afterward, the generations after generations, revelations from Allah, Az-Zabur, At-Torah, the Gospel, or the Quran, that you guys should follow strictly what's written, what's laid down in this guidance. It's called guidance. فَإِمَّا يَأْتِيَنَّكُمْ مِنِّي هُدًى فَمَنِ اتَّبَعَ هُدَايَ فَلَا يَضِلُّ وَلَا يَشْقَى. Those who follow my guidance will never go astray, nor suffer of any distress. But on the other hand, وَمَنْ أَعْرَضَ عَنْ ذِكْرِ, and those who turn away from my dhikr, from my Quran, from my Sharia, then فَإِنَّ لَهُ مَعِيشَةً ضَنْكَ, their life will be miserable. وَنَحْشُرُهُ يَوْمَ الْقِيَامَةِ أَعْمَى, then will be resurrected as blind on the day of judgment. So it is not by where are you living, in what kind of neighborhood, what kind of car are you driving, where did you graduate from, that you want to grow old and your children would come dutiful to you, visit you and hug you and say, Dad, thank you so much for raising us from halal. أقول قولي هذا وأستغفر الله لي ولكم. Brothers and sisters, a short break. Inshallah, we'll return back in a couple of minutes, so stay tuned.
Ark of Noah.
We're going to be mentioning the significance of the Ark of Noah.
Knowledge is the essence of everything. Once you get the knowledge, then it generates the desire and the motivation, and then it brings about the action.
And we're going to be discussing the state of the Ummah and the division which unfortunately has appeared in it, and the methodology of trying to arrive at the right path.
Your system of knowledge or your system of motivation are hit by any of these threats, you will definitely go astray and you will be suffering from a disease in the heart.
We're also going to be discussing what Allah wants from us.
How can we make that? Allah gave us the revelation. So Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is addressing first and foremost the companions. If they believe in what you have believed in, then they are guided. So the real guidance is what the Prophet ﷺ and the companions were upon.
Join Sheikh Mutassim in the program Ark of Noah and discover the answers to these questions.
Why righteous companions?
It is Islam that given us the sense of dignity.
I love all of them in a way that you cannot imagine. That Umar ibn Khattab radiallahu anhu would say something and the Quran would come down matching what he said. والسابقون الأولون من المهاجرين والأنصار والذين اتبعوهم بإحسان رضي الله عنهم ورضوا عنه. Just compare what you did for Islam with just one of them.
Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh, and welcome back. We already have Sister Maryam been waiting on the line from Jordan.
Assalamu alaikum.
Wa alaikum salam wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.
My question is about niqab. I've been really wanting to wear the niqab, and I'd like to wear it indefinitely. I'm living in Jordan right now, so the idea struck me when I came here, and it just kind of stuck with me, and I haven't put it on yet because I'm afraid that if I return to the States, then that I may have to take it off because my husband fears for us to wear it there, and then if I take it off, I'll become hypocritical or I'll go backwards. I'm afraid to start something and then stop it, but then I've talked to other people and they've said, well, no, because it's not farad on you, you can put it on and remove it at any time you like. And I just don't know about this. And then the other aspect of the question is that if I do decide to wear it here in Jordan, at least, I think that I should keep it on at all times, but I've heard other people say that they, for example, they uncover in front of their brothers-in-laws and things like that, but to me that seems worse than not wearing it in the first place, and so I would just like to clarify these issues.
Okay, first of all, Sister Maryam, my personal advice, even according to the view that says that niqab is recommended and it is not mandatory, go ahead for it and seek the help of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, you and your husband. Do not look for what's going to happen in the future when I go to the States. My wife and I were living in the States, we travel all over, and she's wearing niqab. And many of my students, whether Americans or native or from other countries, immigrants, no big deal. When you put your trust in Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, Allah will suffice for you and will be sufficient for you, inshaAllah azza jal. But as far as the second part of the question, which is putting the niqab on and taking it off before the brother-in-law, it is exactly like wearing hijab before others or taking it off or wearing pajamas before my brother-in-law. My brother-in-law is not my mahram. So what you cover before me, you should cover before your brother-in-law. Wallahu ta'ala a'la wa a'lam. May Allah help you and your husband. Thank you so much. Sister Afia from the KSA.
Assalamu alaikum, Sheikh.
Wa alaikum salam wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.
How are you, Sheikh?
Alhamdulillah. Thank you for asking, Sister Afia.
I have 3 questions.
Please go ahead.
A student studying for degree in food production.
I guess I had this question before and it was due to be answered.
So Sheikh, I thought maybe you must have missed, so I tried to repeat.
No.
That's why.
I've got it. It was next to be answered. No,